A great danger is coming to the United States. It is not from an army, but from the sky itself. More than 175 million people across America are in its path. This is a truly historic weather event, unlike many seen before. It brings two very serious threats. First, there will be a crippling winter storm with heavy snow and dangerous ice. Second, record-breaking cold air from the Arctic will move south, making temperatures incredibly low. What is causing this powerful and frightening storm? There is a mysterious weather event called a displaced polar vortex. This is usually a large area of very cold air that stays high above the Earth, near the North Pole. But now it has moved far away from its normal home. It is traveling towards the United States. We will learn more about the science behind this huge atmospheric monster later in this story. This is not a regular cold front or a typical snowstorm. Its size is immense. The storm will cover about 2,000 miles, reaching from the southwest to the entire East Coast. It will bring both heavy snow and freezing rain, creating very risky conditions for travel and homes. The dual threats of thick ice and extreme cold make this event especially dangerous. People must prepare, as this is a serious challenge from nature. The eastern two-thirds of the country is now holding its breath, preparing for the impact. Cities and towns are getting ready. But one urgent question is on everyone's mind. Where and when will this colossal storm first hit our land and unleash its full, terrible fury? The storm is coming. The big winter storm started its journey on Thursday. Very cold, Arctic air first moved into the northern plains of the United States. Temperatures there dropped far below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense cold then began to spread systematically across the country. By Friday, heavy snow began to fall in the southern high plains, covering parts of Colorado and New Mexico. The storm quickly moved eastward. On Saturday, it spread across the southern plains and into the Mississippi Valley, aiming for the mid-Mississippi Valley and the Ohio Valley. By Saturday night and Sunday, the large weather system was nearing the East Coast, reaching southern Appalachia, the Carolinas, and the Mid-Atlantic states, and finally the Northeast. Cities in the storm's path prepared for significant snowfall. Oklahoma City was predicted to receive between 8 and 14 inches of snow. Little Rock, Arkansas could see 6 to 12 inches. In Amarillo, Texas, 5 to 10 inches of snow might accumulate. However, weather experts warned on an even more insidious and destructive danger that was developing alongside the snow. This was a threat from ice, which forecasters described as potentially catastrophic for the South. A major ice storm was expected to hit Texas on Friday night and then spread across the Deep South and the Carolinas throughout the weekend. This ice was not just a little freezing rain. It threatened to cause widespread damage to roads and buildings. Just a small amount of ice, like half an inch, could add the weight of a heavy object to power lines, making them snap easily. Trees could break, and utility poles could fall, leading to many power outages. The heavy blankets of snow were just the opening act for this powerful storm. A silent, heavier, and far more dangerous force was still on its way. This force, the thick, destructive ice, had the power to break essential power lines like small twigs and encase entire cities in a frozen tomb. What exactly was this growing threat of ice, and why did experts say it was much worse than a simple blizzard? The danger of ice. The heavy snow was just the first part of the storm. A much bigger danger was approaching, silent and heavy: ice. Forecasters gave a very serious warning about this ice, calling it potentially catastrophic. Ice is destructive because of its weight. Even half an inch makes a big difference. On 300 feet of power lines, half an inch of ice adds weight like a small car. This massive weight can snap power lines, break utility poles, and bring down large trees. Many homes can lose electricity for a long time.
This dangerous ice storm will hit a huge part of the southern United States, from Texas to the Carolinas. Cities like Houston and areas in the deep south are in danger. North Georgia and central Georgia also expect heavy ice, some places an inch or more. Emergency officials are worried. Keith Avery, an electricity expert, said even half an inch of ice is catastrophic. This weight can destroy power and communication systems. Everyone in these regions must be ready for serious problems. But ice is only one part of the problem. What comes after makes it worse. Very cold temperatures will follow the storm and stay for many days. The ice will not melt quickly. It will stay frozen on trees and power lines. Meteorologist Owen Shee explained that lasting cold makes recovery very hard. Roads will stay icy and dangerous. Fixing power lines in freezing weather is difficult. This mix of heavy ice and extreme lasting cold creates a compounding crisis. This crisis means serious trouble. Ice can cut off power. When electricity stops, houses become cold and dark. Without heat, inside temperatures can drop fast and become deadly. This silent danger will be inside homes. A power outage from heavy ice could quickly become a desperate fight for survival against the freezing cold. 4. The Big Freeze. Life-threatening cold air arrived with the storm. In some northern areas, wind chills were expected to drop to 40 or 50 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit.
This made the air feel much colder than the actual temperature. This Arctic air covered a vast part of the country. It spread from the upper Midwest and Great Lakes down to the Gulf Coast and parts of Florida. Even places not used to such cold felt its bite. In Texas, wind chills could fall to single digits or 10 degrees below 0, very rare for southern states. Florida might see freezing temperatures as far south as Jacksonville. This extreme cold was a serious threat to health. Too much time outside could quickly lead to frostbite. Frostbite made skin numb and change to white or grayish yellow, often on fingers, toes, nose, and ears. These signs of danger could appear in just minutes. Even more serious was hypothermia. This happens when the body's core temperature falls below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. People might shiver, become confused or drowsy. They might struggle with their hands or lose memory. Experts warned hypothermia affects the brain, making it hard for victims to think clearly or realize their danger. This record cold was driven by a displaced polar vortex. This is a large area of very cold air that usually stays over the North Pole, but now it had moved south, letting Arctic air rush into the United States. We had seen its effects, but what was this titan, and why had it left its Arctic home to wage war on the United States?
The combined attack of heavy ice and bitter cold put huge pressure on vital infrastructure.
For millions in one state, these conditions brought back terrible memories. It reminded them of a disaster not long ago that left hundreds dead and the entire region frozen in darkness. 5. Will the power stay on? The memory of the February 2021 freeze was heavy in Texas. That winter storm killed over 200 people and left more than 4.5 million homes and businesses without power for a very long time. As another big storm approached, a sense of fear returned. People worried if the power grid would fail again, bringing back the nightmare of freezing darkness. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said the state had emergency resources ready. He asked people to stay safe. E-Court, which manages most of the state's power grid, stated that power conditions were expected to stay normal. They watched the cold weather carefully, trying to reassure everyone. However, independent energy experts gave strong warnings. They said the Texas grid was improved, but this storm would truly test it. AccuWeather chief meteorologist Jonathan Porter noted the cold would come with a major snow and ice storm to North Texas. Ed Hirsch, an energy expert, cautioned that deep cold could freeze wind turbines and other power equipment, stopping generation. He also worried a problem in one area could cause failures in others. Power companies from Texas to the Carolinas worked hard to get ready. Encore, a Texas company, moved transformers and trimmed many trees to prevent outages.
In North Carolina, Duke Energy asked customers to use less electricity. Governor Josh Stein advised residents to gather food, water, and batteries. He also told people to plan to stay home. These efforts were vital, but with the storm's huge size and heavy ice, their work felt like a desperate gamble. Utility workers knew communications and power could be out for many days. Extreme cold after the storm would make repairs even harder, leaving homes without heat. Beyond the power grid, the storm would also stop the nation's movement and trade. Southern states have less equipment to clear snow and ice. Highways could be shut down for a long time. Major airlines canceled thousands of flights and issued warnings. This would strand many travelers. It would also break important supply chains. With the power grid struggling and millions facing dangerous cold, the country's roads and airports were about to stop, threatening to cut off people and vital goods. A country stops. The country began to stop. On the ground, driving became very dangerous. In Michigan, over 100 cars crashed on a big highway. In New York, another major highway had to close because of many accidents. Ice and snow made roads deadly. Southern states have fewer machines to clear snow and ice. This made driving even harder there. The extreme cold after the storm meant ice would stay on roads for days. It was not just roads. The sky also closed down.
Major airlines like Delta, United, and American had to stop thousands of flights. They told people they could change their tickets without paying extra. Around 40 airports in the east and south were impacted. People could not travel by air, causing big problems for many. This storm also hit the country's money hard. Businesses closed and work stopped. This means a lot of money was lost. Fixing damaged roads, power lines, and other things would cost billions of dollars. Experts said the 2021 storm in Texas cost $155 billion. This new storm was not as bad, but it affected more than 35 states. The total cost would be very high. Beyond traffic and money, the storm brought hidden dangers to people's health. Shoveling heavy snow can be very dangerous for the heart. Doctors said more people had heart attacks when clearing snow. Another silent killer was carbon monoxide. When the power went out, some people used outdoor heaters inside. These heaters can fill a home with a deadly gas that has no smell or color. Many people became sick or died from this. We have seen how this storm affected people's lives, stopped power, and cost a lot of money. But what is causing all this chaos? What is the big force in the sky that drives this extreme weather? To truly understand if this storm is a rare event or a sign of the future, we need to look closely at the mysterious and powerful polar vortex. 7. The science of the storm.
The polar vortex is a big area of very cold air. It usually stays over the North Pole, spinning high above the Earth. But sometimes this large mass of cold air moves much farther south. This happens because of something called a sudden stratospheric warming event. This warming is like a big heat up in the air high above the Arctic in the stratosphere layer. This event makes the polar vortex weak and pushes it off its normal path. When this happens, the very cold Arctic air can travel a long way south, bringing severe winter weather to places that are not used to it. This is the main reason for the current powerful storm. Forecasters, like the experts at the National Weather Service, have a hard job predicting these complex storms. They use many different computer models to guess what the weather will do. For this storm, models from different groups, like the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, generally agreed on the big picture. However, these models could show different amounts of snow or ice for specific cities. This makes it hard for forecasters to be perfectly sure about the storm's exact impacts in every area. Small differences in temperature, sometimes just 1 or 2 degrees, can mean the difference between cold rain, sleet, or heavy freezing rain. This adds to the challenge and makes the storm's precise effects very uncertain until it is closer. Many people also ask about the connection between climate change and these cold storms. The world is generally getting warmer, and winter is the fastest warming season in many parts of the United States. But scientists are still studying exactly how a warming planet affects extreme winter weather events. It's a complex topic. Some research suggests that warming in the Arctic can change how the jet stream and polar vortex move. This might make the polar vortex more likely to wander, allowing cold air to spread south more often in some years. So even with a generally warmer climate, we can still have very brutal cold snaps and big winter storms. This shows that the Earth's weather system is incredibly complex and can still deliver harsh winters. The science behind this massive storm is hard to fully understand, but the danger it brings to millions is now very clear and immediate. With the storm beginning to strike across the country, what are the final critical preparations that families must make? These last steps could be the difference between safety and disaster for many. 8. The final warning. The big winter storm had arrived, bringing its full force across the country. For millions of people, this was the final urgent warning. The dangers were clear: widespread ice, extreme cold,
and the very real chance of long power outages. It was critical to act now and follow the simple, practical advice from emergency officials. First, focus on making your home a safe haven. Ensure your house is sealed tightly.
Use caulk to fill cracks around windows and add weather stripping to doors to keep the cold out. Install and test smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors, making sure they have fresh batteries. Prepare an emergency kit with at least 3 days' supply of non-perishable food, bottled water, and any necessary medications. Don't forget food and water for your pets. Gather extra batteries for flashlights and a battery-powered radio. If the power fails, keep water faucets dripping slowly to prevent pipes from freezing. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warmer air to reach the plumbing. Remember to disconnect and drain all outdoor hoses. Second, avoid travel if you can. Roads will be dangerous due to ice and heavy snow. If you must drive, prepare your vehicle carefully. Your car's emergency kit should include jumper cables, a bag of sand or kitty or for tighter traction, a flashlight, and bright warning flares. Pack warm blankets, a fully charged phone, a power bank, water, and some snacks. Keep your gas tank full. If you get stranded, it is almost always safer to stay inside your vehicle. Critically, ensure your car's exhaust pipe is clear of snow to prevent deadly carbon monoxide from entering the car. This historic storm would be a major test. It would test our modern infrastructure and how well communities could come together. It reminded everyone of nature's raw power. By taking these steps, families could face the storm's fury with more confidence and resilience. What do you believe is the single most important thing a family should do to prepare for a very bad winter storm?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.